morning students. So this is the class for 8th standard, subject social, and topic name is history 3rd lesson, rural life and society. Okay, and the first topic is the land revenue policy under the British. So there will be a land revenue policy under the control of British. Okay, and the types of land revenue policy under British, there will be 3 types of land revenue collected by the British. Okay, permanent settlements, okay, one nilayana nilavari, so which is introduced by Lon Cornwallis, okay, and Rayatwari systems, okay, so this is introduced by Thomas Munro, and Mahalwari system, so Mahalwari system, which is introduced by Lord William Bentinck, okay. So permanent settlements nilayana nilavari அப்படினு சொல்றாங்க, okay, and when Robert Clive obtained the Diwani of Bengal and Bihar and Odisha in 1765, there used to be annual settlements of land revenue, okay. So when Robert Clive, okay, and obtained Dilwari of Bengal and Bihar in this year 1765, okay. So after that, in these places and all, they are introducing, they started to collect annual settlement, okay, for land revenue, okay. And Warren Hastings changed it from the annual to quinquennial, okay. So after him, okay, after Robert Clive, next one is Warren Hastings came, and also he only changed the previous system, okay, previous systems, okay. So from annual to he is changing that into 5 years, okay. So annual collect பண்ற அந்த land revenue எப்படி சேஞ்ச் பண்றானா 5 இயர்ஸ்க்கு அப்படினு சேஞ்ச் பண்றாங்க, okay. And back to annual, so திருப்பி அவர் என்ன பண்ணிரானா Warren Hastings again he changed that into annual again, okay. And during the time of Cornwallis, 10 years decennial settlements was introduced in 1793, okay. So அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன நடக்குதுன்னா, during this time of அதுக்கப்புறம் Cornwallis வராங்க, அவங்க என்ன பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா again he is introducing 10 years policies only, okay, for the permanent settlement was introduced in, so again they are introducing for permanent settlements land revenue systems in the year 1793 for the 10 years அப்படின்னு அவங்க வந்து introduce பண்ணாங்க, okay. And it was a known permanent settlement, okay. So that only known as called as a permanent settlement, they are telling, okay. And permanent settlement were made in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Varanasi divisions of UP, and the northern Karnataka, which roughly covered 19% of the total area of British India, okay. So the permanent settlements நிலையான நிலவரி வந்து எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் கலெக்ட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்கன்னா பெங்கால், பீகார், ஒரிசா, வாரணாசி divisions of UP, and the northern Karnataka, which roughly covered 19% of the total area in British, okay. So 19 areasலேருந்து they are started to collect permanent settlements, okay. And it was known by the different names like Jamindari, Jagirdari, and Malguzari and Bisvedari, okay. So the permanent settlements known by different names, okay. Known by different names, that is Jamindari and also Jagirdari and Malguzari and Bisvedari அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க, okay. And salient features of the permanent settlements, okay. So we are going to see about some features, okay, of the permanent settlement. Jamindars were recognized as the owners of the land as long as they paid the revenue to the East India Company regularly. So Jamindar considered as a land owners, okay, as long as they paid the land tax to the East India Company regularly, okay. So East India Company க்கு ஜமீன்தார்ஸ்க்கு வந்து அந்த land tax வந்து கரெக்டாக கட்டுற வரைக்கும் அந்த லேண்டுக்கு யார் தான் ஓனர், ஜமீன்தார்ஸ் only, okay. And the Jamindars acted as an agent of the government for the collection of revenue from the cultivators, okay. So Jamindar and all acting as an agent for the government, they will collect the land revenue from the cultivators, okay. So Jamindar only collecting land revenue from the cultivators, okay. So விவசாயிட்டேருந்து யார் தான் land revenue கரெக்ட் பண்ணி கவர்மெண்ட் கொடுக்குறது ஜமீன்தார். So Jamindars acted as an agent for the government, okay. and the amount of revenue that the zamindars had to pay the company was firmly fixed and would not be raised under the circumstances. Okay va, so they will fixed some amount for the land revenue. Okay va, so that amount will be fixed only. Okay va, they will not change it in any situation. They will not change it in any situation. And they gave 10 of 11 of revenues, 10 by 11 of revenue collected by them from the cultivator to the government. Okay, so the zamindars collected 11ல் 10 பகுதி வரியை வந்து கலெக்ட் பண்ணி கொடுப்பாங்க. யார்கிட்டேருந்து? கல்டிவேட்டர்ஸ்லேருந்து கவர்மெண்ட்க்கு. யார்? ஜமீன்தாஸ் ஒன்லி. அண்ட் ஜமீன்தாஸ் would grant பட்டா ரிட்டன் அக்ரிமெண்ட் டு த ரைட்ஸ். ஓகேவா, ஸோ ஹியர் ரைட் மீன்ஸ் உழவர்களை சொல்லுவாங்க. ஓகே, ஜமீன்தாஸ் would grant பட்டா, they have a written documents, written agreement they will have, and also the rights become tenants since they were considered the tillers of the soil. ஓகேவா, ஸோ this agreement is வேலிட். ஓகேவா, அவங்க வந்து அந்த நிலத்தை உழுகுற வரைக்கும் அவங்க குத்தகைதாரராகவே இருக்கலாம். யார்? அந்த விவசாயிகள் அப்படின்றாங்க. அண்ட் ஆல் ஜுடிஷியல் பவர்ஸ் வேர் டேக்கன் அவே ஃப்ரம் த ஜமீன்ஸ். ஓகேவா, ஸோ ஜுடிஷியல் பவர்ஸ் என்றால் நாட் பிலாங்கிங் டு ஜமீன்தாஸ். ஓகேவா, ஸோ ஜமீன்தாஸ்க்கு எந்தவித ஜுடிஷியல் பவர்ஸுமே கிடையாது. ஓகே, and merits. Under these systems many of the wastelands and forests become cultivatable land. Okay, so under this permanent settlements many wastelands and forests become very they will used for cultivatable purpose. Okay, and the zamindars became the owner of the land. So the zamindars and all became, they are thinking that they are the owner of the land, and the zamindars were made free from the responsibility of providing justice. Okay va, so the zamindars and all they are not in charge for providing justice. Okay, and the zamindars remain faithful to the British government. They have to loyal to the British government, and this system secured a fixed and stable income for the British government. So through this revenue they will be the British government get a fixed income, stable income they are telling. Okay, and demerits. The British government had no direct contact with the cultivators. Okay, so இங்கே வந்து demerits பார்க்குறப்ப என்னன்னா, the British government there will be a no direct contact with the cultivators. Okay, விவசாயிகளோட எந்த கான்டாக்டுமே இருக்காது யாருக்கு? பிரிட்டிஷ்க்கு. அண்ட் செகண்ட் ஒன் இஸ் the rights of the cultivators were ignored and they were left at the mercy of the zamindars. Okay, so the rights of the cultivators ignore. Okay, வர கல்டிவேட்டர்ஸோட இந்த உரிமைகள் எல்லாமே இக்னோர் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. அதே மாதிரி they will be under the control of zamindars. Okay, and the peasants were almost treated as serfs. Okay va, serfs means slaves. Okay, so the peasants means விவசாயிகள்லாம் எப்படி ட்ரீட் பண்ணுவாங்க அப்படின்னா ஒரு ஸ்லேவ்ஸ் மாதிரி தான் ட்ரீட் பண்ணுவாங்க. The system was made the zamindars lethargic and luxurious. Okay va, so because of this systems, zamindars become very lethargic and also they lived in a very luxurious life, and many conflict between the zamindar and also peasants arose in the rural Bengal. So in the rural Bengal there was a conflict arises between zamindars and peasants. Okay, and the next one is Raithwar system. Raithwar system was introduced by Thomas Munro and Captain Reid in 1820. Okay, so the Raithwar system was introduced by Thomas Munro and also Captain Reid in the year 1820. Major areas of introductions of Raithwar systems included Madras, Bombay, parts of Assam and Coorg provinces of British India. Okay, so in these places and all they started to collect Raithwar. Okay, they started the system of Raithwar system, and by Raithwar system the rights of ownership was handed over. So in this Raithwar systems the rights of the ownership was handed over the peasants. Okay, so the ownership, who is the owner means the peasant only the owner in the Raithwar system. British government collected the taxes directly from the peasants. Okay, so British government they will collect taxes from only peasants only, விவசாயிகிட்ட மட்டுமே கலெக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. அண்ட் இனிஷியலி 1/2 of the estimated produced was fixed as rent. ஓகேவா, ஸோ இனிஷியலில் வந்து எங்கே என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்கன்னா 1/2 of the estimated only they will get. Okay va, they will have to give it to the government. This assessment was reduced to 1/3 of the produced by the Thomas Munro. Okay va, but after that the Thomas Munro reduced that is 1/3 of the produced only they have to pay tax. Okay, and the revenue was based on the basis of the soil and the nature of the crop. Okay va? So the revenue which is collected based on the fertility of the soils and also nature of the crop, அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, ரெவன்யூ வந்து கலெக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. And the rents would be periodically revised generally after 20 to 30 years. Okay va? So the rents will be, they will change. Okay va? After 20 or 30 years. Okay va? 20 அல்லது 30 வருஷத்துக்கு அப்புறம் அந்த ரெண்ட் வந்து சேஞ்ச் பண்ணுவாங்க பீரியடிக்கலி. And the position of the cultivators become more secure. So the விவசாயிகள் வந்து ரொம்ப செக்யூராக ஃபீல் பண்ண ஆரம்பித்தாங்க. In this system the settlement was made between the government and the rights. Okay va? So this settlement is between only the government and also rights. Rights means உழவர்களுக்கும் கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு மட்டுமே இந்த செட்டில்மெண்ட்ஸ் இருந்துச்சு. In fact, the government later claimed the land revenue was a rent, not a tax. Okay, so after that, later on, this kind of a revenue they will collected. The government collected only by rent only, not as a tax. Or tax மாதிரி collect பண்ணாம ஒரு rent மாதிரி தான் collect பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. Okay, and salient features of the Raitwa systems, revenue settlement was done directly with the rights. Okay, so revenue systems they will started to collect revenue only from the rights only, and measurements of the field and estimated of the produce was calculated. Okay va? So அவங்க என்ன லேண்ட் வச்சுருக்காங்க, அவங்க எவ்வளோ வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க, அதெல்லாம் வந்து கால்குலேட் பண்ண ஆரம்பித்தாங்க. And the government fixed the demand at 45% to the 55% of the produce. Okay va? So the government fixed the rate, okay va, for at 45% to 55% of the produce. And effects of the Raitwa systems. In most areas, the land revenue fixed was excessive. So in some lands and all, they collected land revenue very large amount, in a large amount. Okay, in the rights were hardly left with the bare maintenance even in the best season. Okay, so in some seasons also they not able to give land revenue. It is hard to pay the land revenue, and under this system the government exploited the farmer instead of ஜமீன்தார். ஓகேவா? ஸோ இந்த சிஸ்டத்தில் எப்படி இருக்குன்னா, ஜமீன்தார்ஸ் மூலிமா எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்டட். ஓகேவா? விவசாயிகள் வந்து கவர்மெண்ட்ஸ் எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்டட் கவர்மெண்ட் இன்ஸ்டெட் ஆஃப் ஜமீன்தார். ஓகேவா? ஜமீன்தார்கள் பதிலாக கவர்மெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து இவங்களை என்ன பண்ணிடுச்சு, ரொம்ப எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்ட் பண்ணிடுச்சு அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஓகே, Okay, next one is Magalwari system. Magalwari system is a brainchild of Holt Magnus, was modified version of Zamindari systems. Okay, so the Holt Magnus only modifies the Zamindari system, which is introduced in the places like Ganga Valley and also northwest provinces, parts of the central India and Punjab in 1822. Okay, so in these places and all, he only introduced the modified version of Zamindari system. Okay, and Lord William Bentinck was to suggest radical changes. Okay, so Lord William Bentinck only want to change change something in the. So William Bentinck want to do some changes in Magalwari system under the guidance of Robert Martin's Bird in the year 1833. Okay, and the assessment of revenue was made on the basis of the produce of a mahal or village. Okay, so the assessment of a revenue is based on the produce of mahal or village. All the proprietors of a mahal were severally and joint responsible for the payment of the revenue. So all the proprietors of mahal they have the responsible for paying the revenue. Okay, initially the state's share was the fixed 2/3 of the gross produce. Okay, so the initials how much shares they have to pay to the government means 2/3 of the gross produce. Okay, and Bentinck therefore reduced to 50%. Okay, so from the gross produce 50% only they have to pay to the government. Okay, the village as a whole through its headsman or the lambardar was required to pay the revenue. So through the cultivators they have to pay the revenue through headmans only. Okay, headmans and lambardar. And this system was first adopted in Agra and Ayodh and later extended to other parts of the United Provinces. Okay, so through first this is adopted, which is introduced in Agra and Ayodh, and later in some other part of United Provinces they introduced this Magalwari system. The burden of all these heavy taxations finally fell on the cultivators. Okay, so all the burdens will be fell in the hands of cultivators only, okay, due to taxation, okay. And salient features of the Magalwari settlements. The Lambadas acted as intermediaries between the government and the villages, okay. So they also acted as an agent between the government and also villages, and it was a village-wise assessment. One person could hold a number of villages, okay. So it is collected according the village-wise, okay, and because of that, one person can hold many number of villages. The village community was the owner of the village common land, okay. So the village community leader only the owner for the village common land, okay. The village land belonged to the village community, so the village lands automatically belonging to the village community persons. Effects of the Malwari system. The Lambardar enjoyed privileges which was misused for the self-interest, okay. So the Lambardar enjoyed all the privileges which is they misuse, they will used in a wrong way for their own self-interest, okay. அவங்களுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி அவங்க வந்து எல்லாத்தையும் பண்ணிக்கிட்டாங்க. And the system brought no benefit to the cultivators, okay. So for cultivators this is not gave any kind of benefits, and it was modified version of Zamindar system and benefited upper class in the village. So it is also modified version of Zamindari, and all the benefits the upper class people only get, okay. The upper class people only got all the benefits, okay. Okay, next, impact of the British land revenue systems on the cultivators, okay. So what are the impact due to these systems, okay, land revenue systems for on the cultivators? A common features of all the settlements were assessment and maximize the income from the land. So from these settlements, from these three settlements, the common assessment is which is based on the income from the land, okay. When to collect the income from the land, it is resulted in increasing a land sale and dispositions, okay. So இதனால் என்னாச்சு, நிறைய லேண்டை வந்து சேல் பண்ண ஆரம்பித்தாங்க, அதே மாதிரி நிறைய நிலங்கள் வந்து அழிவுக்கு தள்ளப்பட்டது அப்படின்றாங்க. The peasants were overburdened with the taxation, okay. So the cultivators becomes overburdened with the taxation to pay the tax. Due to the tax burden and famines in general, people suffered in a poverty and burden with the debts, okay. So because of the tax burden, okay, அந்த வரி சுமையினால ஃபெமைன் ஏற்பட்டது, and also people suffered with the poverty, வறுமையினாலையும் அதே மாதிரி கடனை செலுத்த முடியாமல் ரொம்ப தவிச்சாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க, okay. And they had to seek the money lenders who become rich and acquire lands from the peasants, okay. So the cultivators started to seek the money lenders, வட்டிக்கு பணம் கொடுக்குறவங்க, அதே மாதிரி பெரிய ஆளுகளுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து நிலத்தை விற்கவும் அவங்க வந்து ரெடியாக ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க, இப்படி விற்கவும் அவங்க வந்து செய்ய ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க அப்படின்றாங்க, okay. And the Jamindars and money lenders and lawyers exploited the poor peasants, okay. So these money lenders, Jamindars and lawyers and all poor peasants வந்து ரொம்ப ஏமாற்ற ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க, exploited. And the stability and continuity of the Indian villages were shaken because of these tax burden, okay. The Indian villages become started to shake, and cotton industries disappear on the account of the import of the British goods, and the peasants had nothing to supplement their income, okay. So because of this, cotton industries and all டிஸப்பியர், ஓகே, மறைக்கப்பட்டு அதே மாதிரி பிரிட்டிஷ் வந்து நிறைய பொருட்களை இம்போர்ட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. ஸோ பெசன்ஸ் ஹேட் நத்திங் டு சப்ளிமெண்ட் தர், ஓகேவா. ஸோ எந்த வழியிலையும் கல்டிவேட்டர்ஸ்க்கு இன்கம்மே வரல அப்படின்றாங்க. இந்த ஓல்டு பாடி ஆஃப் கஸ்டம்ஸ் வேர் ரீப்ளேஸ்ட் பை த நியூ அப்பரேட்டஸ் ஆஃப் லாஸ், கோர்ட் ஃபீஸ், லாயர்ஸ் அண்ட் த ஃபார்மல் ப்ரொசீஜர்ஸ், ஓகேவா. ஸோ இந்த பழைய அமைப்புலாம் மறைக்கப்பட்டு, ஓகேவா, மாற்றப்பட்டு புதுசாக வந்து இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. இதில் லாஸ், கோர்ட் ஃபீஸ், லாயர்ஸ் and formal procedures, okay. The British policies proved advantages only to the government of a privileged section of the society at the cost of cultivators who were right owners of the lands and claimants of the larger share of the produce, okay. So So the British policies taking over advantages for the government only, okay va, and cultivators only the true rightful owner for the lands, okay va. So the cultivators the உழவர்கள் தான் அந்த நிலத்தின் உரிமையாளர்களாக இருக்க வேண்டியது. பட் என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு, இந்த பிரிட்டிஷ் பாலிசிஸ்னால தான் எல்லா அட்வான்டேஜஸும் அந்த கவர்மெண்ட் தான் போகுது, எல்லா அட்வான்டேஜஸும் அந்த ப்ரிவிலேஜ்டு அப்பர் செக்ஷன் பீப்புள் ஒன்லி தே ஆர் கெட்டிங், ஓகே. அண்ட் லார்ஜஸ்ட் ஷேர்ஸ் ஆஃப் த ப்ராடக்ட். ஸோ லார்ஜ் ஷேர்ஸ்லாம் யாருக்கு தான் போகணும் அப்படின்னா cultivators தான் போகணும். பட் ஆல் த அட்வான்டேஜஸ் அண்ட் ஆல்சோ ப்ரிவிலேஜ்டு அண்ட் ஆல் வென்ட் இன் த ஹேண்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் அப்பர் கிளாஸ் பீப்புள்ஸ் ஒன்லி, ஓகே. Okay, next one is Indigo Revolt, Indigo Kalagam அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம், okay. The Bengal indigo cultivator strike was the most militant and widespread presence upstream, okay. So the Bengal indigo cultivators, they started to strike, which is widespread, okay. And also the European indigo planters compelled to tenant farmers to grow indigo at the terms of highly disadvantageous to the farmer. So the European indigo planters and also compelled the tenant farmers in order to grow indigo in the terms of disadvantageous, okay, to the farmers. The tenant farmers was forced to sell it cheap to the planter and accept advances from the planters that benefited later, okay. So what they are telling means the tenant farmers and all was forced to sell it cheaper, okay. They wanted to sell the indigo in a cheaper to the planter, okay. And also they were taking many advantages from the planters, and the advantages they will get it in a later way, they are telling, okay. And there were also cases of kidnapping, looting, flogging and burning, and led by Digambar Biswas and Vishnu Charan Biswas. The riots of Nadia district gave up indigo cultivation in September 1859, okay. So this is led by Digambar Biswas and Vishnu Charan Biswas, okay. And riots of Nadia district, okay. Riots mean we already know this, உழவர்னு சொல்லுவோம். It is from the Nadia district gave up the indigo cultivation. They stopped the indigo cultivation in September 1859. The factories were burned down and revolt spread, okay. So the factories என்ன பண்ணாங்க, எரிக்க ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. அந்த revolt வந்து இன்னும் ஸ்ப்ரெட் ஆக ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சு. And to take control of this situation, the government set up an indigo commission in the year 1860, whose recommendations formed part of the Act 6 of 1862, okay. So they started indigo commission in the year 1860 in order to control the situation, okay. And also the recommendations formed under the part of the Act 6 and the part of the Act 6 of 18 in the year 1862. The indigo planters of Bengal, however, move on to settle in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, okay. So the planters of the indigo planters of Bengal, they started to move and settle Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. The newspaper Hindu Patriot brought to the light of misery of the cultivators several times. And Dinabandhu Mitra wrote a drama, okay. So he is a person, he wrote one drama and in the name of Neil Darban in Bengali with a view to draw an attentions of the people and the government towards the misery of the indigo cultivation. So through his drama, okay, he want to know about the miseries of indigo cultivators towards the governments, okay. Okay, next one is Champaran Satyagraha. This is between 1917 to 1918, okay. And the European planters of Champaran in Bihar resorted to illegal and inhuman methods of indigo cultivation at a cost of which was wholly unjust, okay. So in Bihar, the European planters of Champarans, they started to treat illegal and they also treated inhuman method of indigo cultivations at a very wholly unjust, okay. Under the Tikatya systems in Champaran, the peasants were bound by the law to grow indigo on 3/20 part of the land and send the same to the British planter at the price fixed by them, okay. So under the Tikatya systems, the peasants, they have to, under the law, they have to grow indigo, okay. In that produce 3/20 part of the 3/20 part of the land, they have to send it to the British planters, okay. And also the price will be fixed by British only. British planters only. Okay, they were liable to unlawful exhaustion and also oppressed by the planters. Okay, so the planters treated as a very unlawful. Okay, and Mahatma Gandhi took up their case, took up the case, and the government appointed an inquiry commission of which Mahatma Gandhi was a member. Okay, so in this case Mahatma Gandhi only taking up, and also the government appointed a commissions, inquiry commissions, which Mahatma Gandhi was a member in that commission, and the grievances of the peasants were inquired, and ultimately the Champaran Agrarian Act was passed in May 1918. Okay, so under this inquiry, okay, they are passing one act. Okay, the name of the act is Champaran's Agrarian Act, which is passed in May 1918. Okay, so next one is Mapla rebellions. Okay, Mapla கிளர்ச்சின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Okay, in the year 1921, the Muslim Mapla, the peasants of Malabar, okay, was suppressed and exploited by the Hindu Jamindars, Jainis, and the British government. So the Muslim Mapla are also called as a Mapla and the peasants of Malabar. Okay, so these Muslim Maplas are suppressed by the Hindu Jamindar and by the British government. Okay, this was the main causes for this revolt. Okay, so இதுதான் முக்கிய காரணம் அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க for the Mapla rebellion. The Mapla peasants got momentum from the Malabar district conference, which is held in April 1920. Okay, so they got a momentum, okay, from the Malabar district conference, and this conference supported the tenants cause. Okay, so குத்தகைதாரர்களுக்கு என்ன பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாங்கன்னா சப்போர்ட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ், அண்ட் டிமாண்ட் அண்ட் லெஜிஸ்லேஷன் ஃபார் ரெகுலேட்டிங் லேண்ட்லார்ட் அண்ட் டெனன்ட் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப். ஓகேவா, ஸோ they asked the regulations, they also rules for regulating landlord and also tenant relationship. In August 1921, the Mapla tenants rebelled against the oppressive Jamindar. Okay, so they started rebelled against Jamindar, and the initial phases of rebellion, the Mapla peasants attacked the police station. Okay, so initial stage and all the rebellions of phases of rebellion, Mapla peasants and all started to attack the police station, public offices, communication and houses of the oppressive landlords and money lenders. Okay, so by December 1921, the government ruthlessly suppressed the Mapla rebellion. So the government started to suppressed Mapla rebellion. According to an official estimate, as a result of government intervention, 2,337 Mapla rebels were killed. Okay, and also 1,650 wounded and more than 45,000 captured as a prisoner. Okay, so 2,337 Mapla rebels were killed. அந்த கிளர்ச்சியில் கொல்லப்பட்டிருக்காங்க. அதே மாதிரி 1,650 காயம்பட்டிருக்காங்க Mapla rebellions, and also 45,000 captured. ஓகேவா, 45,000 persons Mapla rebellions என்ன பண்ணியிருக்காங்க, சிறையில் அடைச்சிட்டாங்க. ஓகே, next one is Bardoli Satyagraha. This is between 1929 to 1930. Okay, so in 1928, the peasants of Bardoli, Gujarat, and started their agitations under the leadership of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, so in the 1928, the peasants of Bardoli started the agitations under the leadership of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in protest against the government proposal to increase the land revenue by 30%. So because why they started this protest means the governments increased the land revenue by the 30%. Okay, but because of this only, under the leadership of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, they started the protest. Okay, and the peasants refused to pay the tax at enhanced rate and started non-tax campaign from 12th February 1928. ஓகேவா, ஸோ வரி செலுத்தா அப்படின்ற நான் டேக்ஸ் கம்பெயினை வந்து எப்போ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா 12 February 1928. ஓகேவா, ஆல் த பெசன்ஸ் ஆர் ரெஃப்யூஸ்ட் டு பே த டேக்ஸ். ஓகே, and many women also participate in this campaign. Okay, so in this campaign many women also participated, and in 1930 the peasants of Bardoli rose to men, refused to pay taxes, faced the accusation sales and the eventual loss of almost all the lands by refused to submit to the government. Okay, so in 1930s வந்து என்ன பண்ணாங்க, the peasants of Bardoli குறைந்த விலைக்கு கூட நாங்கள் விற்க தயார், பட் அரசுக்கு வந்து சப்மிட் பண்ண மாட்டோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. தே ரெஃப்யூஸ் டு சப்மிட் த submit to the government. Okay, versus குறைஞ்ச விலைக்கு கூட நிலத்தை விற்க தயாராக இருக்காங்க, பட் கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு கொடுக்க அவங்க தயாராக இல்லை அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஓகே, however, all the lands were returned to them when the Congress came to power in 1937. So all the lands they given to the peoples. Okay, so when the Congress came in the power in the year 1937. Okay, thank you students.